we did this podcast right after we did the last one, but I never got around to editing it, so here it is. Enjoy. And there's another one on the way pretty soon as well, so stay tuned for more me and Dan podcasts. Here we go. Alright. Do you want to upload these to your channel as well? It seems that it's interesting content.
I won't have time to edit video to them, but if you put video to them.
Oh yeah, I'll have to do that anyway, sure.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I don't see why not.
I'm not sure what I should add to it though. Probably just some gameplay. It's probably not going to be excessively interesting. Not sure if that's fine for you.
Maybe, I don't know if that'll fit in with my sort of channel content. So, but what I can do is put on Facebook and Twitter, and in me reviews, I'll just be like, hey, by the way, if you want hear us on a podcast, go to Game Squid's channel and like point them in your direction and put links in the description and stuff.
Sweet, but I think your audience might actually like to hear you more. So even if it's not your your highest quality content, they might still like it. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I can point them over to your channel, and they can hear it on there, and then it just brings more people to your channel as well.
All right, cool.
Hopefully, that would be the intention anyway.
Yes, that would be great. Well, I see you've had a really hard time getting to do this YouTube stuff, and for me, I mean, it's never been that hard to begin with because I always had a lot of exposure from my games, and then I never really did such quality content that it was worth having 10,000 subs anyways, but maybe now I'll be able to make that jump soon.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
I suppose once my new game comes out, I'll definitely be popular.
I'm keen to see what your new game is actually.
Haven't you seen my channel trailer?
No, I haven't seen it. You'll have to send us a link after we've done this episode.
Oh, it's great. You should. You're a little mouse. You jump around. It's a glorious game.
Sounds fun.
Alright, anyways, I'm probably going to keep all of that as an intro, so here goes Rocky.
Yeah, no, okay, so we're going to talk Rocky and Rambo today.
Yeah, I've only recently watched Rocky because I always thought, lame boxing, who's into that?
Yeah, but it's totally not a boxing movie. It's about a working class dude. Like, that's the story. I love Rocky. I love Rocky so much.
Oh, it's so good. It's unbelievable.
Have you seen them all now, or have you just seen the first one?
I have seen them all, yes. I've even seen Creed. And
what did you think of Creed?
It's pretty much the same. I don't see it any different than any other Rocky movie, honestly.
See, I love Creed. I think Creed. I think my two favorite Rocky movies are Rocky 1 and Creed.
Well, for me, it seems that having favorite Rocky movies is about as pointless as having a favorite Game of Thrones episode. Because it's all just one big thing, in my opinion.
Fair enough. See, I would argue, like, if you look at Rocky 1 and Rocky 4, those two are so completely different. Like, Rocky 4 is brilliant because it's fun. Like, it's silly, and there's robots, like, and there's, Russian fucking like super soldier boxers, and like it's so dumb, it's awesome.
Well,
but Rocky 1's like a real like down to earth sort of gritty movie. I like it.
Oh yeah, similar to Rambo, how that one's completely different at the start, and then in the end it's just such a magnificent fest of gore. I love Rambo 4 so much.
It's so violent. It's crazy violent.
It's
Rambo
amazing.
4. Yeah.
I was wondering maybe I should make a video where it's just Rambo but without Rambo, and then it's just that short sequence where he shoots everyone and it's so gory.
Yeah,
and then it pretends to be a horror movie, but then I realized that I would never bother with all that, but maybe you'd like to do it, I don't know.
maybe one time.
So much editing. Maybe I could do it. Who knows? So yeah, Rambo and Rocky, Rambo is always, you think it's this kind of action hero like the Terminator, but then when you go back, it really isn't, because he starts out being some kind of hobo veteran.
Yeah, pretty much. Like Rambo, like there's everybody like there's two Rambos. There's the Rambo that everybody who hasn't seen Rambo, like what they think it is, and then there's actually Rambo, because in the sort of like in the cultural mindset, everybody thinks that Rambo was this super, masculine, big die-hard style action movie where loads of people die. I mean, like you'll have played Broforce, right? Have you come across Broforce?
I've not played it, but I see that's exactly the point we were making.
Yeah, like Rambo's in that as a playable character, and everybody's like, well, that makes sense because Rambo is like this big, hard-ass, masculine soldier, and he shoots everybody, and it's all very violent, and everything blows up, and everybody dies. And then you watch the first film, and it's a film about PTSD, and it's it's really downplayed, and it's more like a lot of people like say it's an action movie, but it's like it's more of a drama, if anything.
Oh god,
like,
the first one's such a weird movie, and
I love the first one so much.
It's so hard to tell what kind of genre it's even supposed to be, because you got the bastard cop, and then he's just going to war. But then they don't have to go to war. He could have just given up, and he would have been fine.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing, isn't it? Like
never give up.
Yeah, the whole thing with the first Rambo film is that literally all this starts just because Rambo wanted a sandwich. Like, if the cop just took him to that diner, then none of this would have happened. Like, all he needed was a sandwich, maybe a burger, and nobody would have died.
Oh, yeah, but well, he didn't kill anyone, did he?
No, he didn't, but a lot of people died because of... And there was a lot of property damage that happened, and like loads of people got injured.
It's not even him who's the vicious one, it's the cops who are bastards completely, and they're trying to kill, and it's awful.
Yeah, 100%. What's interesting though is, do you know it's like really different to the book in the original drafts?
I didn't even know there was a Rambo book at all.
Yeah, so in the book, are you bothered about book spoilers?
No, but I'm very interested in your pronunciation of book.
Yeah, book. That's a Geordie thing as well, book.
Is that where you're from, Geordie?
I'm from Newcastle.
Right.
And Newcastle citizens are called Geordies. This is the Geordie accent that you're hearing.
I must Google map you right now.
It's like northeast of England.
Oh. Well, that makes sense. Oh, wow, I just wrote Google Map instead of Newcastle
instead of Newcastle.
God, the multitasking capabilities right now.
There's two Newcastles though. One's in Australia. What you want is we're called Newcastle upon Tyne.
That's
if you
the
want
one.
More
Yes, the Tyne. Is that?
That's the river.
That's not the Thames though, is it? From London?
No. The Thames is a different river. The Thames is in London, like much further down south.
Oh yeah. So anyways, Sylvester Stallone.
So what happened was in the book, Rambo kills himself at the end. He commits suicide.
Oh wow, that would have been different.
Yeah, very different. And he kills a lot of the police, like really violently.
I wish he would have done that. That would have been way better.
Oh no, I like that he doesn't. I think it's a better film because he doesn't. But what's interesting is the film originally in the original draft actually was more like the book. The original writers.
But then they wanted to do sequels, so they had to be tame.
No, I don't think it was that. I don't think it was the sequel thing at all, because they didn't think it was going. They didn't intend for it to get a sequel. The sequels just sort of happened because there's no sequel to the book. At least that, as far as I can tell, because at the end of the book he kills himself. So, how could there possibly be sequels?
Well, yeah, the first Rambo's so different, anyways, than the sequel. So yeah.
yeah. So basically, what happens is in the original draft. The guys who wrote it had him kill like 16 of the guards and the police, and it was only when Sylvester Stallone actually came on and he rewrote it.
Oh yeah, I assumed. I almost thought that would be the reason, because he seems such an interesting guy. He's always so nice, but then also pretty dumb usually in the characters that he portrays. I mean, portrays them to be dumb.
Yeah, well, like, Rocky's not a smart man, is he? He's sort of just...
He can't read, he can't drive, it's awful. And when he gets money, he just wastes it all on cheap shit. On expensive shit.
But yeah, well, I think Sylvester Stallone's actually a better writer than he is an actor in a lot of ways. I mean, he's literally got... I think he got an Oscar for Rocky, but for the script, not the performance. But yeah, so because Stallone wrote Rocky as well. So basically what happened was... They bought the rights. A bunch of film companies bought the rights to the book First Blood, and they had a few people attached to it to write the screenplay. And there was loads of drafts, and there was this draft by these guys Kozol and Sackheim, and in their draft, he kills 16 of the gods, and he commits suicide at the end. And it was actually Sylvester Stallone that came on that got the movie greenlit. But Sylvester Stallone only agreed to do the movie using his star power if he could use his star power to rewrite the script. He actually wrote all of the deaths out of the film, and rewrote the end so that he has the breakdown and hands himself in rather than commit suicide.
That was such a good scene as well, where he just breaks
down. It's an amazing scene. It's my favorite scene.
Can hardly understand him, but it was really powerful.
Oh yeah, it's so good. It's so powerful. Because it's interesting because it feels like the entire film is built up to that moment when he breaks down. It feels like that's what he's wanted to do from the very start. Because if you remember, the film starts not with him and the policeman. The film starts with him going to see an old friend and finding out his friends died from cancer due to Agent Orange exposure during the Vietnam War.
What is that, Agent Orange? Is that an actual thing? I thought that was some kind of napalm.
It basically is. It was like I think it was like a herbicide thing, but it was like it's burned people's skin, and exposure to it gave like loads of people cancer, and so like lots of the Vietnam people who got exposed to Agent Orange was like they got all these ill health effects. There's like pictures online of people who've been exposed to it, and it's brutal. It's like it looks really, really awful.
Oh god.
Basically, like, it was to try and, I think they put it over Vietnam to sort of like harm the Vietnamese people. Like, it sort of give all that crops this horrible chemical and expose their skin to it and stuff. And there was lots of sort of people born there's lots of sort of people born with problems after like the Agent Orange exposure. Anyways, yeah, so
what a war.
It was horrible war. But what's interesting is like Rambo in that film never gets time to grieve, like, because he's really distraught and he just kind of wanders out into town not knowing what to do with himself. And that's immediately when he's accosted by that horrible head god.
How is that even a possibility, this guy? Ridiculous.
Yeah. And then, obviously, everything goes to shit. And basically what's cool is he sort of, like, finds himself back in the war. Like, I think the whole point of the film is it's trying to say Rambo never really got to leave the war. Like, he's carried it with him all the time.
The funny thing is that the movie was so unbelievable. All these coincidences that this cop would push him just in this way, and then they would shave him so that he would think he's getting tortured from this one guy in his black flashes.
I don't think that's necessarily like that big a coincidence, because I think they could literally have had anything set him off. Like, the cop could have just approached him in a funny way, and then he could have had a flash of like a Vietnamese soldier like going to grab him.
Yeah, but they were really rough on him, you know. They were really torturing him.
The coppers were dickheads. Like, the coppers in that movie are absolute assholes.
I wonder what they do if you actually act like Rambo with the real cop. Well, I suppose in the current year they wouldn't do anything. They would probably just let you go.
Yeah, like, I think they pursue him a bit more than what's believable in the initial film. Like, I'd have been like, yeah, let's let the army deal with this one. Like, this guy is clearly insane. But yeah, like, as I say, sort of the whole time he never really gets time to grieve his dead friend from the start of the film, and he's immediately like thrust back into what's essentially a jungle. When he's in that forest, he's basically in the Vietnam jungle again, and sort of you see him in the mine shaft, and there's the rats and stuff. Like, he has to relive like a lot of horror that he lived in the war, and it's only at the end when he's I think it's his colonel comes up to him, and he gets that chance to just basically cry and just break down. And I think like the whole film builds up to that moment. I think it's really, really, really amazing stuff. And I much prefer that ending to him just killing himself. I think him killing himself is pretty is powerful in its own way, but at the same time it would have been like a bit flat and a bit, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, it's a bit of a downer. Like, don't get us wrong, the film doesn't end on a happy ending by any means. But for him to just kill himself is like too much of a downer.
It was actually kind of alright because he was getting a blanket and probably gonna be alright.
You sort of get the impression he's gonna get help now. Like, he needed that.
Compared to what he's been through, he'll probably have a good time now.
Yeah, so if he'd killed himself, that would have just been like, oh wow, that's bleak.
Well, then again, I mean, is it really bleak? Because everyone dies anyway, so why wait?
So, listen to this. This is new information for me. I'm reading, like, on another tab. I'm reading this.
I see you're a master of the multitasking, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm reading this on post-production. Apparently, the first rough cut of Rambo was over 3 hours, possibly 3.5 hours long. And according to Sylvester Stallone, it was so bad that it made him and his agent sick. Stallone wanted to buy the movie and destroy it, thinking that it was a career killer. And it's only after heavy re-editing the film was cut down to 93 minutes that version was what ended up released in theaters. I wonder how bad this 3.5 hour version is then.
Oh yeah, that would have been real interesting. But then again, it couldn't be too bad considering it had all the same scenes, right? Or did they make new scenes?
Well, apparently they did film the suicide scene.
Oh, okay. Wow, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, so the suicide
scene any way you can find that suicide scene?
I very much doubt it. I bet you if you did though, I bet if you could get a hold of that footage, it would probably be worth a lot of money.
Well, yeah, if it's not on YouTube already. Let's see.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Star Wars scene where Jabba the Hutt is actually a Scottish fat man?
Yes. It's so funny. It's so weird.
Well, it's even more weird when you see the scene after you've seen that, because they've clearly taken that scene, right, and just added the CGI hut over it.
Yeah.
Oh, there, First Blood Rambo alternate ending. I wonder if this is real.
Sometimes you get so mad you think you're going crazy. Then it goes away, that hot feeling. It's not going away anymore, and I can't control it, Colonel. And I can't spend the rest of my life in a cell either. If I gotta die, I want you to do it. Don't let them do it. You trained me. You made me. You killed me. You owe me that.
Oh God. I,
Ah, man, great. Yeah, because I'm reading here, a suicide scene was filmed, but Kotcheff and Stallone opted to have Rambo turn himself in
oh
at
wow.
Troutman's urging.
He's really dead in the end.
Oh, is it the real scene?
I think so.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to watch this after the podcast. I'm really curious as to how that goes down.
Wait, am I seeing this right? Let's see. Yeah, it really looks like he's killed himself. Wow. That's something.
That's different.
I mean, I have the sound off and the quality's bad, but it really looks like he's dead in the end, and then, yeah.
Crazy. It's weird to think that even exists.
Well, why not? I mean, if that trivia's there, then that's good to know.
Yeah.
Besides, people filmed it, so they probably pocketed it. Have you seen any more Sylvester Stallone movies?
I've seen The Expendables, unfortunately.
I-
What a piece of shit that is.
I remember seeing that a while ago. Man, he is in a lot of stuff though. He's pretty much just like that Rocky guy. Just he'll go along
Yeah.
with things and
Yeah.
he'll play his part.
He goes the distance. But yeah, I've seen of like probably quite a lot of not Rocky films, Sylvester Stallone films, but like the ones that stick out in my head as being like really good are pretty much just Rocky and Rambo First Blood.
There's another one like that, kind of. I'm not sure if you like it as much, but it's called Over the Top, and he's pretty much. He's an arm wrestler in that, and he's a deadbeat dad. I'm sure you'd love that one. And then he goes with his son on the road, and he's a trucker too. So he's amazing, and it's pretty much like
I've seen like there's
trucker
loads of
Rocky.
films. Isn't he in something with Wesley Snipes?
Not sure. I think he was in Ants.
He was in Ant. Oh yes, he is. He is in Ant. He's the big ant. He's the big soldier ant.
I don't even remember him in that.
Yeah,
oh,
he is. He's in Ant. You're right. Obviously he was in Judge Dredd, which was awful.
What is Dredd?
Demolition Man. Demolition Man's the one where he's in with Wesley
Ooh.
Snipes. That's a weird film. Have you ever seen that?
I have, but I don't remember him in it.
Yeah, he's he's like the copper who gets like because it's about him and Wesley Snipes, and they get cryogenically frozen in 1996,
Indeed.
and then like get brought back to life in 2032, and it's very, very strange.
Oh, is he the bad guy in that?
No, Stallone's the good guy. Snipes is the bad guy.
Wait, he's not the Demolition Man, is he?
He's the main guy.
Really?
Like,
Wow.
yeah.
I have completely forgotten that was him.
Yeah, he's the main dude.
Let me just look that up. Oh god, this video, if I did this video right, I would have to find so many pictures and add them at the right time.
Yeah, there would be this is what we find like when me and Jamie do video game movie madness.
But-
is like because we're just talking, we'll accidentally reference things, and then when you come to the edit, it's like, oh damn, now I've got to find that.
Yeah, but I'm probably not even gonna bother with all that. I'm probably just gonna find some Far Cry footage that looks like Rambo, and then it'll just be that the entire time. And at the very start, I look at the references, but then the later in the video, the less actual interesting references will be on screen.
There's an actual Rambo video game.
Oh yeah, but
Which
that
I've
one's
heard
completely
is
garbage.
awful.
Wait, did I
Yeah.
buy that? Oh god, I hope I refunded that.
You want to hope you didn't buy it. Apparently, it's awful.
Oh, it's the worst. I remember it was absolutely the worst. Please tell me I don't have it still. Oh good, I don't have it.
That's all right then.
Unless I bought it somewhere else. Oh, what a piece of shit that is. Just a rail shooter or something.
Yeah.
It pretty much quick time events the game.
Yeah, really bad stuff. But yeah, we haven't even talked about Rocky yet. So
Well, a little,
Yeah.
but yeah.
so basically, yeah, well, like Rambo is kind of like it's amazing, but Rocky for me is even better. I adore Rocky. It's genuinely one of my favorite films of all time. I love Rocky so much. It's such a smart film, and completely written by Sylvester Stallone.
Oh wow!
As well, yeah, like he's the sole writer on it. Whereas like Rambo, there was like a team of like 3. The original Rocky was just written by him, and obviously was so successful it then went on to do 100 sequels, and now it's on the Creed spin-offs and everything. What's interesting with the Rocky films is there's kind of like not one of them's bad per se. Like all of them have got something. Like there's definitely ones that are worse than others. Like a lot of people don't like Rocky 5, but it's not bad.
Oh yeah, it's all pretty good. It's all just he's just so nice, Sylvester Stallone. It's always such a joy to watch him these days.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't believe I never realized that when I was young. Even though I did love Rambo, I guess. The first one.
Rambo's great.
Well, all of them, I guess.
I haven't actually seen Rambo 2 and 3. I've seen Rambo 1 and Rambo 4.
Well, I suppose those are the good ones.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird mix though, because Rambo 1's like he doesn't kill anybody, and then like Rambo 4, murder everywhere.
Oh yeah. I think Rambo 4 is the best one of the action ones, because maybe it's because of the girl. Could it really be because of the girl? Maybe it's so weird that there's just... No, I guess there's a girl in the second one too. Okay, the second one's good. Just not sure about the third one.
Yeah, but
you should watch them for sure. Oh
yeah,
god, you'll never have
definitely
time for all this.
I know. This is the thing. It's like it's so much stuff. Like so much stuff sort of piles on, because then before you've had a chance to watch one thing, someone else will be like, "Oh, you should watch that too, and you should play this." And
then there'll
sure
be more Rick and Morty, and there'll never be an end. And more Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Rick and Morty, 100 years. But yeah, Rocky's fantastic. I love sort of like there's a lot of really subtle, clever touches in it. So what's he called again? You know, Adrian's brother.
Paul.
He's the one who's kind of Paulie. Yeah, Paulie is a dick throughout that whole movie. Paulie is an arsehole. And he's always holding his sister back. But if you watch...
Well, that's a bit hard to tell. She seems to be very autistic, and someone's got to take care of her.
He's... Right, well, this is the thing. Like, he's got sort of best interest, but he goes the wrong way about it. Like, he's definitely, like, he is holding her back in a lot of ways. Like, he's very sort of... I don't know if it's like... I don't know if controlling's the right word, but he's sort of like he's kind of an asshole, like the whole thing.
I remember when he threw out that turkey. That was horrible.
Yeah,
just for no reason.
He's an alcoholic, and he doesn't want to go out with Rocky and stuff, and he's kind of an asshole. But then at the end, when the fight's finished, and Rocky's like all battered, and he's shouting, Adrian, in that way that only Sylvester Stallone can.
Right.
While he's in the ring, all the crowds are sort of swarming the ring, and all he wants to see is Adrian, and Adrian shouting Rocky, and he runs up. And if you actually watch that scene, like a lot of people don't notice this, but Paulie is like distracting someone, and then he very, very subtly lifts up the rope, like behind his back, so that Adrian can get in the ring. Yeah, like Paulie finally, in like the final moments of that film, for the first time, doesn't hold his sister back, and it's in that moment she gets to tell Rocky she loves him, and it's brilliant filmmaking.
What are you talking about? Paulie set up that date between Rocky and Adrian.
Yeah, but he's and
he set up that time where he was training with the meat. And to begin with, Rocky was that bum who was working for this loan shark and couldn't do anything properly. This is true. Really.
But I don't know though. Like Paulie, like it's the subtlety, like because there's with Paulie, the way he acts throughout the whole film, like he is a complete arsehole and he's an alcoholic and stuff. And I just think like that gesture of lifting up the ropes is like far more important than anything he does in the rest of the in the like the rest of the film, like in terms of like it's the most powerful.
Was that the first
like,
movie still?
This is in the first movie, yeah.
Right.
And there's loads of like other touches. Like one of my favorite bits in the film Rocky is when Rocky goes into the ring for the first time and he's looking at the posters, and they've got the poster of like Apollo Creed, like absolutely massive. And there's that shot of him just in his normal, like, you know, jacket and pants or whatever, and he's just kind of stood there like sort of slouching, and there's like that massive shot where there's him in the ring and he's just completely dwarfed by this huge massive image of Apollo Creed, who's like covered in like the American flag shorts, and he's smiling and he's looking all handsome and stuff. And like that shot is the whole film in a nutshell.
Was that before or after he got challenged?
It's after he gets challenged.
Right.
It's when that it's you know when it's the bit where, you know, when he goes in to see the ring and he looks at the posters, and they've got a poster of Rocky and they've got a poster of Apollo, and Rocky goes, "Oh, you've got the shorts wrong on my poster." Do you remember that?
I don't actually. I've only seen this once, and I've binged the entire Rocky saga, so I guess I'm not as memorized as you are.
Yeah. Well, basically, there's a bit in the first movie where Rocky goes in and there's like a huge poster, and there's just this amazing shot where sort of Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed is just stood above. He's like stood on this poster above Rocky, and it's such an amazing shot, because if you take that shot, remove it from the film and give it to someone else who's never seen the film, like they get the whole story of like what Rocky's about.
Oh,
just
wow.
This like small, you know, average Joe guy who's like just so tiny in comparison to this like world famous huge,
But
like
meanwhile he's
athlete.
still pretty buff.
Oh yeah, but he's small time, he's small town, you know what I mean? He's not famous, he's a nobody, he's an average Joe that pulled off the streets. And just seeing like him, that like small little average Joe, dwarfed by the absolute glitz and glam of like this huge icon, is just the coolest fucking thing ever. Like, it's visual storytelling, like at its very best. It's so good. I love shit like that.
I'm looking forward to seeing Rocky the first movie again, because now that I've seen the entire thing, and it's only recently anyways that I've seen this, so that's why.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, I was always reluctant to watch it. It's often that I'm reluctant to watch something and then it turns out to be good, or at least it turns out for many people that they have this reluctancy.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite thing about the first Rocky film as well, which I think the sort of make the mistake in the future films of not having it go this way necessarily. In the first Rocky film, Rocky loses. Like, I love that Rocky loses the fight. I think that's brilliant.
I don't even understand. How does that work? Isn't it a draw if they both live to the end?
No, not in boxing. What
That's
happens
so
is
confusing.
it goes to a judge's decision.
Isn't that so arbitrary? Wow. It's not even how many times they were hit or how much health they have left.
They take how much health they have left. Like they've got like a video game bar that stands above them. Yeah. It does go off like hits landed and stuff. There's like a guy who keeps like a record, and then like the judges sort of give their decisions, and they sort of take into account like who landed the most hits, how much like. So like if, for example, if like you if yous make it to the end, but one guy's been knocked down twice.
Oh yeah,
and one guy
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and one guy's still stood the whole time. Like they're gonna give it to the guy who stood the whole time. Or if one guy was clearly more dominant, they'll give it to him. And anyways, it goes to judge's decision, and so Apollo Creed wins and Rocky doesn't. And I think that's amazing. I think that's brilliant, because for Rocky, it was never about winning the fight. It was about going the distance, and he goes the distance. It doesn't matter that he doesn't win. He wins by getting there and proving like that he could stand on the same platform as that guy. And above all else, he wins because Adrian loves him. That's fucking class writing. That's brilliant. Like, he doesn't win the fight, but he wins the film. That's awesome.
But then he could have just not fought at all.
Yeah, but then he doesn't win at all. Then he's still just a loan shark for Tony.
But Adrian still would have loved him, right? I mean, she was willing to forgo sex so that he could be more powerful as a fighter. So really, she loves him already.
Yeah, but like with that fight, with like going the distance, he earns, like, for him personally. It's because it's about Rocky. It's about like how he perceives himself and stuff. And it's when he goes that like fight, he earns Adrian's love. Like, she could have loved him anyways, but it's like he's won it. It's not something that just happened. It's like, it's good writing. It's very good writing. Like, Sylvester Stallone knew what he was doing with writing back in the day.
Well, that makes sense, but I really don't think that she would have left him if he hadn't won or anything.
Yeah, but that's not what the story is. It doesn't matter. I mean, he doesn't win, and she doesn't leave him.
Right.
That's the point. That's the point.
If he had failed horribly, I'm sure she would have been fine, right?
Yeah, but that's not the story. You know what I mean? That's not the story anyone wants to see. It's like the whole, like, that's it. Like, it is a story. Like, if he went in and got humiliated and she still stayed with him, that's a plot. But it's a different plot, and that's not the story that the film's about. The story wants to be about a man who goes the distance, and it is, and it's brilliant. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, God, I love Rocky.
Oh, yeah. It's weird how he's always on his last legs, and then he still goes on.
Yeah.
But then on the next movie, he's fine.
Yeah. Except in Creed. In Creed, he is not fine. Jesus, bless him.
Well, he's not fine in the second one either, because he's still all beaten up from that first fight.
Yeah.
Or that one time where he gets punched too hard, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He goes through some stuff. He gets like doesn't he have like, I'm struggling to remember, like, the only one I really love is the first one, but doesn't he have like brain damage in Rocky 5?
Indeed. And then he still fights after that, so yeah, I guess that's a bit weird.
Yeah, that I think that's the one where everybody's like, hang on a minute. They're letting this dude with brain damage fight? Like, that's a bit odd.
Well, they didn't let him fight. The last fight he was in was a street fight because the guy he was training was...
Yeah.
He was just a bastard and he beat him up for no reason.
Yeah, I remember this now. It's been a while. Like, the only one I really ever rewatch is Rocky 1. Like, it's been a while since I've seen the others.
Well, I usually do the whole thing. If I rewatch Lord of the Rings, I always watch the full thing, and then also The Hobbit.
Oh, I do with Lord of the Rings. With Lord of the Rings, I'll rewatch all of Lord of the Rings. But for me, it's like what you say with Rocky and Game of Thrones. For me, there's not 3 separate films. Lord of the Rings is one long film that happens to come across multiple discs.
Oh, but you don't count Hobbit in that?
Oh, continuum. I do not like... No, I don't like The Hobbit.
The Hobbit is great.
The first Hobbit film is pretty good. The second and third... The second one's fun if you don't acknowledge it as being part of, like, the...
you haven't seen the extended edition, have you?
I have not seen the extended edition.
You gotta see it, it's so good. There's goats in it, man.
There's goats?
They cut out the goats on which they ride. I can't believe they would do such a thing. It's the best scene, I think.
Huh. Interesting.
It's just so amazing. Oh, yeah, you really need to watch the extended edition of the 5 armies.
I really did not like the 5 armies. Like, that's the one I really didn't like. Like, I enjoy the first one, but I think it's too long. I think it should have just been one film, basically.
Well, I can't get enough of them, especially the dwarves. They're also great.
Yeah, like, there's stuff to enjoy in The Hobbit, but it's just when it was held up to the standard of Lord of the Rings. Like, Lord of the Rings is...
Well, you don't need to hold it up to that standard. I mean,
for me,
even then, it's not so bad because Lord of the Rings is really aged. It's just the CGI. You can really tell that it's...
Oh, I don't care about that. I don't care. Like, for me, Lord of the Rings is, like, my favorite. Like, Rocky's one of my favorite films. Another one's Back to the Future, and another one is Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, like all three of them as one film, is like one of my favorite films of all time. And I know like some of the CG looks bad and stuff now, but it doesn't matter because the story's good and the characters are good.
Indeed.
And like some of the moments in it like are so like powerful and emotional, and it's got so much to say about friendship and like the good and evil inside of everybody, and like religion, and like The Hobbit has sort of none of that. And I was just so let down because The Hobbit, I really love The Hobbit book.
Well, are you religious?
Oh no, not at all. Not at all. But I like. I don't. I'm not remotely religious. But there's like.
I know that they cut out the part where Tolkien is being a religious fool, and I think that's a good choice.
What, are you on about the Tom Bombadil stuff?
Probably. What exactly was that?
Basically, there's like there's another Hobbit character.
Oh.
In the book Lord of the Rings called Tom Bombadil.
No, I don't think that's it. I think just the way that they talk. I think in the end he really had a Christian moral in the Hobbit books, but not in the movie.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's been a while since I've read it, but I don't think it was in the Hobbit at all. But yeah, so Lord of the Rings has got like so much to say about really big things, and then the Hobbit is just kind of flat for us. Like it's never really takes off. It's all a bit like Hollywood, and like, you know, that scene in the second film where they go down the waterfall and they're in the barrels.
Oh, that was my favorite.
See, I really didn't like that. It's like it was just like too much, and like it cuts to like GoPro shots and stuff. I don't know, like it was too.
What does that mean, GoPro?
There's a bit like there's a shot in the barrel sequence where it cuts to a camera called the GoPro camera. It's the bit like it's like a first person view from the barrels.
Oh,
the barrel goes over
right,
the edge.
that's what you meant, first person view. Okay.
Yeah, and it was filmed on a camera called a GoPro camera, and like it's a lot maybe like a lot of people like don't notice it, but because I'm like so used to like playing with cameras and stuff, when it changed to the GoPro camera, it was really weird for me. It was literally like it had just
unwatchable.
Yeah.
But you can forgive all the CGI of the Lord of the Rings, huh? Interesting.
Because it's not important. It's not important. Like
well, then that's important.
Well, right, because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. In Lord of the Rings, right, the bad CG does not harm the story. In The Hobbit, the clunkiness of the action sequences and the fact that they even are action sequences when they don't need to be harms the story. And so I'm more critical of the action sequences in Hobbit.
Oh, you're very picky, aren't you? You like the action in Kung Fury when that's completely bullshit, even though it's amazing. But then if you sneak a little bit of that into The Hobbit, then it's not good.
It's contextual. It's everything's on a case-by-case basis. If I want, like, I love the action in Die Hard, and I love the action in Kung Fury, because both of them know what they are. Like, Die Hard knows it's a sort of, like, gritty, you know, working class average Joe, but like really violent, you know, kind of working the way to the top of the tower fighting terrorists. It knows what it is. Kung Fury is silly, ridiculous. We're going to do the splits and then kick 100 Nazis in the face, and it knows what it is. The Hobbit is like the action, like it doesn't fit. Almost, it feels like it feels forced in. It feels like they just put in an action sequence. Because like in the book,
you really like the extended edition, then, where it's just more action, more ridiculous action.
No, don't tell us that. I'll never watch them now.
Oh, but you gotta, it's so good.
Oh my god. But yeah, that's why I hated the Five Armies. The Five Armies was just a big CG wank fest. And it's like I didn't care about anything that was happening, and like, because that's the thing, like the CG in Five Armies is probably technically better.
Oh, it's so
than the CG in Lord of the Rings. But in Lord of the Rings, I care about what's happening to the people involved in the CG. In Five Armies, I don't. Well, and that's the difference. I can forgive bad CG if I care about what's happening, and I cared about what was happening in Lord of the Rings.
Well, I don't get that then, because the dwarves are way cooler than the Lord of the Ring cast, in my opinion.
No!
Oh, come on, those little Scottish dwarves, they're amazing.
Oh, they're fun. They are fun, but, like, there's no... Right, so, like, for example, right, one of my favourite bits in Lord of the Rings is there's that moment where, and I know The Hobbit like is like based off a book that was like more childish and stuff, but like for me it just didn't have the like emotional crux. So there's that moment in Helm's Deep with Legolas and Gimli. And Gimli says, "I never thought I'd die fighting side by side with an elf."
Oh God!
And Legolas replies, "Fighting? How about fighting side by side with a friend?" That
cringy scene with all the emotions. Oh my!
It's the best bit.
How about
it's
a friend?
Amazing. And then Gimli says, "Aye, that I could do. That's beautiful. That's powerful. That's like because you got to think when you contextualize that in their world, they're breaking down the barriers of racism because elves and dwarves are like racist towards each other, and it's like, but that friendship like overbears like all of that political context behind like their history and stuff, and they're gonna die fighting side by side together, at least think so, and that's beautiful. And there's nothing like that in The Hobbit. It's just,
oh, don't you love how they just in the end don't overcome the racism, and the Elf King is a massive asshole and just leaves? Don't you just love that part? I thought that was great.
And then, if you're going to complain about cheesiness as well, Five Armies has a way cheesier line when she's like, oh, when she's crying.
Oh, that was great. But if this
awful.
Is love, I don't want it. Oh, that was the best.
And he's like, because it was real, and I'm like, oh God, no.
Okay, that part maybe.
Why is she even in the films? Like, who the fuck is this ginger elf lass? Like, why did they need to force in this weird love story with the handsome dwarf? It's so.
I think we actually had a discussion over this in your comment section as well.
Have we? I think we might have. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the love story.
I'm just glad. I'm sort of glad that I wasn't doing reviews around about the time that the Hobbit was coming out.
Didn't you
because
do
people
one on
would
that?
hate me so much.
Well, no, it's people aren't completely in love with the Hobbit, but
some people are. Like I've been in like talking to people at parties and said I didn't like the Hobbit and got like, what? How can you not like the Hobbit? Like, it's weird, you know.
My cousin was in that as a Scottish extra.
Yeah.
Maybe you just don't like your own culture. That must be it.
Must be.
It's because of your father.
I
bet he was a drunken dwarf and he went to fight a dragon instead of taking care of you. It's all clear now.
That was it. It makes so much more sense now.
Terrible.
I don't know how I ended up on The Hobbit from Rocky, but
yes, I was just thinking of a way back, but it's too late now.
It's too late now. We've gone. I mean, I kind of said all I want to say about Rocky and Rambo, and that's just that they're friggin' wonderful films.
Indeed. So, anyways, I think that The Hobbit is better than Force Awakens.
You're making us hyperventilate here, mate.
Oh, am I? What, are you saying I'm hyperventilating?
No, you just to say that The Hobbit is better than anything Lord of the Rings just hurts my very soul.
I didn't say that. I said better than Force Awakens.
Oh, better than Force Awakens. I thought you said better than The Fellowship. I misheard you.
Oh no, definitely not. The Fellowship is better because it's older, and it's great for its time.
But yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can see. Like, I don't necessarily agree with it, but I can see there's an argument to be made that The Hobbit's a better film. Like, the first Hobbit film, anyway, is a better film than The Force Awakens. It's certainly more... I mean, Force Awakens doesn't technically have source material, but it has, like, a universe that it's got to be faithful to. I would argue that the first Hobbit film...
a little too faithful, maybe.
Yeah.
Fucking retreading the story. It was awful.
Yeah, I would argue that the first Hobbit film maybe is... maybe treats the source material with more respect than Force Awakens does, because there's, as much as I do love The Force Awakens, there's a criticism to be had that it is just shamelessly ripping off of an already successful story, which I think is, less respectful than just faithfully adapting a book.
Indeed.
But yeah, so I can see the argument. I don't agree with it, but I can see what you're saying.
Well, I'm saying that Peter Jackson has done a better job than J.J. Abrams, especially with Rogue One. Is that actually J.J. Abrams? I don't know, but
J.J. Abrams isn't. J.J. Abrams did episode 7, but he didn't do Rogue One. He's not going to do episode. He's not doing episode 8
I did like Rogue One though, but I guess it's still a better legacy to The Hobbit than the Star Wars in that case.
But yeah, he's not doing episode 8 or 9 either, like J.J. Abrams has done with Star Wars. I think it's Rian Johnson's the next one, I think.
I wonder if the writing's going to get better. Well, I guess it can't get any worse. They can't possibly come out with Death Star 4, right?
Oh, God, I hope not. Do you know what I'm really worried about? I'm really worried about Luke turning to Rey and being, Rey, I am your father. That's what I'm worried about.
It's going to happen.
If it does, I'll cringe. I'll say it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward though to the new Star Wars. I guess they're pretty cool. At least they're very visually attractive.
Oh yeah, the stunning films. I mean, it helps that they're shot on actual film, which not a lot of movies are these days.
Oh, so what? Really? I don't understand why they would do that.
Because film's really, really, really expensive. Like is
that good?
No, it's...
no, I don't understand why they would use such an outdated thing.
Oh, but because that's the thing. It's not... Right. So...
Right, I guess... Does that mean film grain?
No. So, film actually looks better than digital.
I know it kind of looked pretty good.
No, it does. It looks better. Because
but how could it look better?
Because what film is a truer to life image. Digital is like a digital replication of the image that the camera sees, whereas film is like an actual exposure onto film.
But it's still edited, so it must be in a digital form at some point, right?
They convert it so that they can edit it digitally, but they shoot it on film initially for the better image.
Well, how does... Well, I suppose that makes sense. They can zoom in better, but does that still... They still bring it out on hard drives, right?
Yeah, they're like edited on hard drives, but they shoot it on film first.
Yeah, but then it doesn't really make much difference then, because in the movie it's still gonna have the same quality.
No, because film... Okay, so, right. The film stock that they used is like... It's not quite this, right? But, right, it's... Let's just, for the sake of explanation. The film stock they used is at like 8K resolution. And digital can only go as high as like 4K when they were shooting it. So the film actually has better image and better resolution.
Well, yeah, I get that, but it's still scaled down, right? In the cinema.
No, not in IMAX.
Oh, God, is that my doorbell? Whoever could that be? Huh. Well, I better check. Be right back.
No worries.
I hear it made a really loud noise when I came in the door again.
No worries.
Well, that was weird. It was just toddlers that were trying to get money.
Huh, that's strange.
Well, not that strange. They do that all the time. They're supposed to be the three kings, and they paint on your door. It's really weird. I never got it. Why?
Yeah, that's I've never heard of that. That's so odd to me.
So very odd. Oh well. I wonder if I'll remember to cut out this part. I mean,
hopefully.
The part where I was gone for a whole minute and we didn't talk. I mean, unless you were talking.
Nah, I didn't have anyone to talk to, mate.
Oh yeah. Well, there we go on an hour again. Amazing.
Yep.
Just never gonna make a nice, short, engaging video.
It's hard when you're doing a podcast because conversation just naturally like flows. But an hour is a decent length for a podcast. A lot of podcasts generally are an hour long.
Well, that's cool. I guess our general movie podcast is going on well. This could be a nice thing. We could do this every once in a while.
Sounds good.
So I guess Moana is still there to talk about.
Yeah, I love Moana.
Do you like the cockeyed chicken?
I think that was the only thing I didn't like in it.
The derpy chicken that was straight from Nemo.
Yeah. I didn't even think of that. It really is. It's the exact same thing as the one in Finding Dory, isn't it?
Yeah, it was so weird.
Becky. Yeah.
Is that the new mascot?
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. I never made the connection.
I don't even know how not.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was something. Oh, but that one was even more retarded this time.
Yeah.
But I like how he talked about the chicken though.
Yeah, like he was just gonna eat it the whole time.
Yeah. It's a good chicken. Oh, what a nice musical. Did you watch Sing?
It's not out over here yet.
Oh.
It's not out till the 25th over here.
I wonder what you'll think of that. I thought it was pretty cool.
I'll have to check it out. I like animated movies, so I'll probably enjoy it. Like it's like I'm normally quite enjoy animated movies. It's rare that there's one it's not that it's rare that there's one I don't like, but generally, as of recent, they've all been like pretty good. At least like big cinema releases. So I'm sure it'll be all right.
I'm not sure they could be bad. It's just so nice to see one of those fluffy animals on screen.
Yeah.
I loved Zootopia as well. I'm not sure if I would still love it, considering the latest development with political correctness and racism.
I don't know anything about that. I love Zootopia though. Like I don't know what the latest development is.
I mean, just everyone being polarized about Trump or not Trump.
Oh, right, yeah, I got you. I still think Zootopia is a brilliant film.
Oh, yeah. It's very anti-racist or anti-discrimination. Come to think of it now, having this bunny as a cop, I'm not really sure I'm for more women in cops or in armies, because I guess there's no way to say that very well.
I think I get what you mean. Like you're saying, like you don't want it to be token.
Yeah, token. I think that they should pick whoever's best for the job. That's the one. Yeah,
I get you. I get what you mean. Yeah, that's the common argument. Like it's a difficult one. Like this is the problem. Everybody sort of you've either got to be against it or for it, when really there's no right answer, and that's what people like I think have to realize. Like, yeah, maybe we do need to see women more represented in sort of combat heavy situations, police, army, but if they are less qualified,
they are much less qualified usually. I mean, if you look at the statistics of how strong women are in the Olympics compared to men, especially with weightlifting and such, it's just such a difference. And those things, they're going to be important, right? They need to carry around a gun.
Well, it's a difficult one. There's, like I say, there's no right answer to it, because like you can't tell people like, oh, you can't have this job, like you're too weak if they are qualified for it. Like there's no reason
if they're qualified, but you gotta make sure that they don't make special tests for women that require less strength, because that would just be outrageous.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of problems around it, isn't it? Because that's what I'm saying. It's like there's no right answer, because obviously you want women to be better represented in areas where they're not, but at the same time, if these people aren't qualified for the job, then you can't give them the job. So it's very difficult. There's literally no right answer. It's a complicated process.
Indeed. Well, I guess my conservative stance on this should be fairly reasonable. Oh well.
Yeah, everybody's got their views on it, I suppose. Like, I think it's like a more complex issue than taking a side, but I understand sort of both points, like from both perspectives.
Indeed. Oh yes, politics. Is it uncomfortable?
Yeah, I don't know how we got onto this from.
Well, Zootopia is pretty much that
Zootopia,
because she's just training hard to be a police bunny, but then she's not getting the chances that she wants. But then, should she be getting those chances, and then will she be endangered?
In the case of Zootopia, definitely, because she turned out to be brilliant.
Well, yeah, so but just because she had plot armor.
Yeah, but there's people with plot armor in real life. Like, there's loads of people who survive ridiculous circumstances when they just shouldn't have. You never know who's gonna have the plot armor.
Well, but that's just retrospective then. It's probably you just pick someone who was lucky, but if he hadn't been lucky, you wouldn't have picked him.
Mm-hmm. It's tricky, isn't it? It's hard to gauge.
Highly. Oh well, yeah, Zootopia was great.
I loved Zootopia. Thought it was great. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to review it because it came out in England so late. Like, it had already been out in America for like months, and then I caught it late as well. So it was like, it was almost
great.
Like not.
Then you can talk with spoilers.
That is true, but it was at the point where it's like all the points I wanted to make, other people had already made. And that's the problem, because it had been out so long. Like, everything that could have been said about Zootopia had already been said, which kind of sucked. But like, if anybody wants to know my thoughts on Zootopia, since I didn't do a review, I thought it was fucking awesome and you should watch it. That's kind of all I have to say on the matter now, because everybody else has kind of covered how awesome it is. But so Sing. We'll see what I think of Sing when that comes out.
I didn't think the reviews on it were that positive on Zootopia. Some people didn't like Shakira in it for some reason.
I had no problem with that. I don't think
she was great.
Yeah, I don't think she made the movie like any worse. I don't think she particularly needed to be there. I don't think there was like, oh wow, that movie would not have been the same without Shakira. But at the same time, I was not offended by her being present at any point.
Had I just singing along with her? Gazelle, amazing. Just like real life. Grown man singing women's songs, yeah.
I've been to see Shakira live in concert.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
When was this?
It was in Dublin a couple of years ago. I went to see Shakira, and it was like, I've got quite an eclectic taste in music, because it was literally the same month I saw Iron Maiden. So I saw Iron Maiden and then Shakira.
Nice. Yeah, it's good to be diverse, right?
Yep.
Damn it, I just had a thought and now it's gone.
No worries. So are we cutting this off sort of now at the hour mark, or do you want to wrap it up, or?
Oh damn! If only I could remember. It was so relevant.
If you want to have a think about like the relevant thing, and then we can sort of wrap it up on that point.
Well, I'll forget to cut this out, so I'm afraid we'll just have to do without. Well, it was nice talking to you again.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
God, it's on the tip of my tongue, though.
You know what's going to happen, right? We're going to cut this off. I'm going to hang up, and then you're going to be like, oh, shit, that was it.
Oh, it's right there. God, what was it? One of the new movies?
Well, we're talking about Zootopia. We're talking about Sing, animated films, musicals. Jogging your memory at all? Rocky, Rambo?
No, damn it. Once you want to get it, it'll never. Just like RAJGAD with that insect.
More Hobbit references.
Oh, you love it. Oh, the Hobbit. Alright, well, subscribe for more movie hours. What do I call you anyways?
What do you call me?
Yes.
I guess GeekyGlassesTV.
Right, you're not going by your name? Alright.
Okay, Dan. Dan's name.
Movie Hour with Dan. Subscribe every month maybe, or I don't know. If you're around.
We'll see. We'll see. It might unfortunately be a one-off, but hopefully I can come back on at some point.
Oh no, you're axing me already.
That's not the case. It's just time. It's like because obviously starting next month I'll be at university again, so I might not even be able to do my own YouTube stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess you did have holidays. Well, maybe I better make more use of you today then. If you're up for that.
I can do. Maybe not actually. I was gonna say I could maybe do another episode, but I've just checked the time. It's like 7:15, and I've still got to go eat. Yeah, probably not the day I can it. But we've got 2 episodes out, so that's not so bad, you know.
Indeed, that was very nice.
Yeah, I had fun. It's good talking to you.
Very good. Goodbye.
Right, awesome. I'll stop the recording and send you the WAV files.
Yep.